Hi guys. So today's video is going to be the complimentary video to yesterday's. Yesterday's was tropes in romances that I don't like, and today is stuff that I do like. I often say when I am doing any kind of a review or when I'm talking about books, I admit quite frequently that romances aren't my favorite part about books, and I don't mean that I hate romance. What I mean is I feel like most of the time I don't like romances because they seem to either take over the plot or they are filled with the tropes from yesterday's video that I don't care for instead of being filled with the things I'm going to talk about today. When they are made up of the things that I'm going to talk about, I actually really like them, and I think they can really enhance the story because I mean, I'm not ever wishing for people to be miserable. Well, maybe I am. I do tend to like sad stuff. I actually do like a good love story. I am going to admit that some of the things I'm going to mention maybe aren't technically tropes. They're just things that occur, and I see them often enough that I'm going to consider them tropes. I'm going to give them a name. But I'm going to start off with one that I think a lot of us are fond of, and that would be the slow burn. I don't mind if characters get together within the book that they met. It's fine. But when it takes like multiple books for them to get together, or when it takes till the end of the book for them to get together, I love that. And I don't love that because I'm just sitting here like, good, the romance is at the back burner and we don't have to think about it. I like it because real human relationships, more often than not, they take time to develop. Just like characters take time to develop, and plot lines and stakes, all the things that I like about books, generally they take a while to develop. And that's why I like a slow burn relationship, because it's the same thing. Plus, I think it builds the anticipation. I love it. I love the payoff. When you've just, for pages and pages and pages, thought, when are these two gonna freaking get together? And when they finally do get together, such a good moment. The next thing I love in romances is when the characters genuinely admire one another, or they genuinely care for the other character. I like when they really have a reason to like the other person, and that reason isn't just the other person's good looking, because most of the time in stories they're usually just supermodel good looking, but I just wait, supermodel good looking without realizing it. Anyway, I like when characters, they have things about the other person that they just think are great, when they see how that person interacts with others and that person's always kind, or that person always presents themselves in a way that's almost demanding of respect, or the other person is just very to themselves and they observe. And they have a characteristic, they have several, if not almost all, of their characteristics are characteristics that the other person really likes. And it doesn't even have to be things that they want for themselves necessarily. It can just be, it's a nice contrast to their own personality, or maybe it just fits well with who they are. The next one, this isn't a trope. I feel like this isn't a trope. It's just, I just love when this happens in books. I love when your really kind of macho guy gets a little gushy about the person he loves. I'm very aware this is very specific, but I just love, I really like those maybe more stereotypically masculine, more traditionally masculine characters that are all tough and gruff, and then they have their special someone and suddenly they're just a big teddy bear. I love that. It doesn't have to be that specific. I mean, it can be a character who's normally pretty suave and has it together, and then they're around the person that they're attracted to and that they really like and they care about. They're around that person, suddenly maybe they trip over their words a little, or they stutter a little, or they just don't know what to say. I think it's so cute. The next thing I like in romances is when both people are their own people. I like that. I don't like when one of the characters is just there to be in the bedroom, basically. Like they're just there to satiate one of the characters' physical needs. Like I don't like that. And it doesn't even have to be on paper, literally. Oh, this person just waits in the bedroom all day, and it's not, I know it's not that blatant, I'm aware it's not that blatant, but we all have seen those characters where they live for the other character, and that's so boring. It's boring and it's unrealistic, because if I see a real couple and they're like that, I'm sad. I'm sad for the person who does everything for the other person. All I can think is like, do you have any of your own hobbies? Or like, do you want to go see a movie or something? I just feel bad for them. I guess I shouldn't say it's unrealistic, because it's a thing, but I just wish it wasn't in the story viewed as a beautiful love, because that's not a beautiful love. Love should go both ways between two people who are their own individuals. It shouldn't just be like, whatever, honey, works for me all the time. That actually kind of leads into the next thing I like a lot, and that's when they're nice. When they're nice. I love when characters are nice to each other. And I'm not saying I don't like playful banter. I'm not saying I don't like when characters kind of tease each other, push each other's buttons and stuff, because whatever, that's great. But I just mean, I don't like in relationships where one of the characters is a complete tool to the other one. I hate that. That's not great. And so when I see couples in books where they're genuinely kind to each other and care about the other person and want to know, hey, are you okay? How are you dealing with this catastrophic event that's going on? Because heck, I love fantasy, so it's usually end of the world type situations. I don't know, every now and then to have these moments where the person you care about most brings you happiness and joy because they're so nice to you and they love you, that's great. I love that. I also really like when, I'm going to clarify, I really like when the characters are protective of one another, not possessive, protective. Anything you care about, anything you care about. If my puppy starts walking up to the bookshelf and starts like sniffing around, I'm gonna be watching her thinking like, don't you dare bite those books. Come on, that's like the same thing with humans. If it's the person that you love more than any other human being in the world, out of all the billions of people in the world, you love that one the most, and that one is being ogled by some brutes, you're not even a smidge gonna be like, Same for if a bunch of sexy ladies are all touching up on the man. That man's significant other should probably be like, I don't know if I like this. And this can be obviously taken to a much bigger extreme, where if the other one is about to go into a dangerous situation, the other one's like, be okay, all right? Just be okay. And they care about, like, they genuinely don't want them to get hurt or to have anything bad happen to them. That should be how it is, I think, right? Like, you shouldn't want bad things to happen to the other person. You are a little protective of them. You're protective of the things that you care about. And not jealousy, I just I like a little bit of the protectiveness. All right, I'm gonna play off of what I was just describing a little bit ago, where there's all these really attractive, scantily clad broads all up on the man's self, or vice versa, you know, it could be like a bunch of sexy fellas are all talking to the chick or something. Or, you know, if they're not straight, it can be the same gender. But I love a good shutdown. So, okay, this is what I mean. I love this. I don't know if this is a trope, but I love when it happens. I love when there's some individual, some little homewrecker. By the way, just to clarify, the only people that can wreck a relationship are the people in the relationship, in my humble opinion. But anyway, if somebody comes along and they're trying to disrupt the love, and the one character who they're all up on shuts them down and makes them look like a fool, or they make them look stupid, and they say something to them that's really great and satisfying when they say something or they do something and it just puts that person in their place. I love that. Next thing I like in romances is when the characters challenge one another. And I feel like nowadays, it's weird. It's sometimes it feels like we're reverting back, because if you have a girl who's challenging the guy, it's like, oh, stupid feminist. Or if you have a guy who challenges the girl, it's like, how dare he? She's her own woman. It becomes weirdly a commentary on social issues. And honestly, shouldn't we challenge each other? Shouldn't we kind of question one another sometimes, or say, I don't think you should do that? Every now and then, and it's respectfully, but I just think it's good when the characters butt heads a little bit, and they shouldn't always have the same views on everything, and they make each other better people by conversing respectfully and agreeing to disagree every now and then, and just learning how to love that person every single day and become a better person, because they challenge you. I think that's a great thing, and I love it in stories. The next thing I like, this is a trope. This is totally a trope, and I'm a sucker for it, and that's the forbidden love. Some of you are sitting on your little high horse and you're like, I just think it's just so contrived. Of course it's just wanting something you can't have. But come on, it's compelling. I know that sometimes this can actually be a negative thing if it's, oh, well, I'm married, But gosh darn it if the stable boy isn't such a hunk. I'm not talking about that kind of forbidden love. I'm talking about usually it's some stupid rule that society has. Like, oh, well, this man is of noble birth and this girl is a peasant, so they can't be together. That kind of thing. That kind of thing. When their love is bigger than all that nonsense of their worlds. That's the kind of forbidden love I like. The last thing I love, I feel like, is gonna be a little surprising, given that I usually really like when people die in books or when things are sad and tragic for some reason. I eat that stuff up. So you may be surprised to know, I really do like happily ever after. It doesn't necessarily have to be that the characters are, everything ends perfectly for our main characters. It doesn't have to be that. I just mean that through all of what they have gone through throughout the story, when they find some kind of peace in the end and they find it with this other person, when they finally are at peace and they have this person by their side, I love that. I love that. It's just, how does that not make you happy? That's it though for some tropes that I love. I love in love stories, but let me know what kinds of things you love. What are the tropes or just general, maybe really specific situations that you love seeing in romances? I'll go ahead and link the sister video to this one, all the tropes I don't like, right over there. But anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day and I'll see you all later. Bye.